Alrighty, what up Sid, what up Aslan? We are live from Columbus, OH. And this is the Ramsey Show After Show for, what is it, in November 25, 2024. 56 degrees outside. I guess can't complain about that. That's pretty good for the Midwest. And we have audio, which is good. You can hear me better when the audio works. What up, HB? And let's get started. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you have money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That link is in the description of the video, also in the ticker below. Okay, you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money, and you just have to scroll down a little bit on the main page to get to my financial content. This show, the Ramsey Show After Show, and today is show number 425. On Friday's show cut out after like 4.5 minutes or something like that. Don't know why. And so that's in two parts there, but that will happen. Technical problems do happen. And the other playlist is answering your financial questions, and there is 135 of those. So plenty of me to listen to, and the music playlist has 11, soon to be 12, Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Thanks to Sid for writing and Mr. Sid for suggesting the one that will be gone soon, and that is Bad Habits Lead to Debt. And I'll be able to sing that better one day, perhaps. Market report. Now, the Russell Small Cap Index leads the way again today, and it has been, over the past 6 months, it has been the highest yielding index. So fun times for that, and also hit a new record today. They all did. All of the Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000, which is the small cap index, is another Russell 1000, I think, which is the mid cap index. Don't quote me on that. But so all of these at new records. And so guy that they always think they know everything, trying to call when the market's going to go down. Oh, the market's going to go down. And people have been saying that for decades. And then if they happen to say it and then like the next month a crash happens, then they think they're right. They have no idea. They have no idea. You can't point to any factors and think that is going to cause it. And and this person was, because of the old printing money, and so the United States has a deficit. Apparently it's fine. Apparently it's fine. I mean, one day, theoretically, certainly, it will be untenable anymore. And the United States will fall, just like Rome did. Of course, that was not from printing money, though. But the printing money, not what's advised by Mr. Ramsey, of course. You're supposed to live under what you make. Elon Musk going to be going through the budget and how they're going to cut things. I mean, they're supposedly talking about cutting things. And, I mean, just tons and tons of IRS employees hired. And they don't seem to really be done any faster, the processing of those. And so a bunch of departments just need to be cut down and layoffs need to happen. Sorry, you got to get a real job. So, so if you are working for the government and you're complaining about anything, well, it's because you got hired due to wasteful spending. So we'll see how that works on there. I don't have any faith in politicians is my problem. So it's generally served me well not to think that, I mean, especially president, because president is going to have a lot of plans and say a lot of things that they're going to try to get passed. But even with a full Republican Senate and House of Representatives, there's going to be stuff that he can't get through to pass. So, and that's just the way it goes. So, president can't just executive order everything. If he could, we would be an empire at that point. And so, that's not how it works. Anyway, where were we? We were doing the market report, not the political report. And again, highs today. But of course, oh, I know what brought that up. The person in the chat, and you get those every so often. And normally, if they call it that it's going to happen, generally they stop coming in about 6 months after they call that a crash is happening, and then you never see them again. Interesting. Or it could be that I just blocked them because they were being trolly in other ways. But if they were just calling a crash, I would keep them around just so I could say, "Told ya." And of course, most people that call the crashes, they just leave it open. Oh, I don't know when. Well, then what good are you? Of course, it's going to crash at some point. It always does. It's going to go down and then come back up and go to a new high. It always does that. So that's not a shocker that it's going to crash. But you thinking you know when it's going to be is ridiculous. And so, I mean, for decades and decades, people have been worried about the printing money and the deficit. And so, whether or not the incoming administration will do anything about it, after, some of them have said that they are going to try, that they are going to do it even, we'll see. We'll see on that. But I don't put any faith in any politician. What else we got? So all good news there. Let's see what the rest of the planet is like. Everything up in Europe, mostly up in Asia. So that's probably about the best you can do. Euro up over the US dollar, Japanese yen up over the US dollar, the US dollar up over the British pound, though, love. US dollar above the Canadian dollar, and the US dollar up above the Australian dollar, mate. Oh, let's see, who do we have? Tomorrow, CrowdStrike and Dell reporting. Dude, I got a Dell. I've never owned a Dell. The most followed single stocks on the Google, and all green today except for the Tesla. And as we know, if you learn nothing from this show, is that you've learned the Tesla doesn't just stay in the ones and twos normally. Normally it's at 3+% either up or down, and today it's down. I don't have any articles for today, so let's just look over the news. Jump after Trump picks Scott Bessent for Treasury. Okay, I don't know anything about that person, so no clue on that. But again, not counting on him to make anything better. Macy's found a single employee hid up to $154 million worth of expenses. All righty then. And they're going to pay for it by the stock going down. That's actually going to make things worse. Microsoft Massive Outlook and Teams outage has gone on for hours. That's not good either. That's not great either. I mean, that many businesses rely on that. That can shut businesses down. So that's when they go to some of the free ones. What is it? Google. What is it? Google Meet. Yeah. Warren Buffett suggests all parents do one thing before they die, whether they have modest or staggering wealth. Teach your children temperance, maybe? Let's see. What is it? I gotta know. Gotta know. I'll even undo my ad block for that particular page. There we go. Let your adult children read your will before you sign it, okay? And that's, I mean, Dave isn't saying to wait to sign it, but he advises that you have a complete reading of your will while you are still alive. That way, there's not any problems later. And that day, they can bring it straight to you if they have a problem. And you can say, tough, I'm doing this anyway. But a lot of people don't like to do that. And I can see some parents not wanting to do that so that they don't have to confront the dear child that is going to complain about that. So, but yeah, Mr. Ramsey suggests that he does that with his family every year. They have a reading of the will. He calls it an annual "What if Dave dies" meeting. MicroStrategy spends $5.4 billion buying another 55,000 bitcoins. All right, that does sound like a MicroStrategy. Emily Calandro, 100th woman in space. That is a lot of women in space. I had no idea there had been that many. Refuses to bow to small men on the internet. All right, that's a good idea to do as well. Introducing the model context protocol. Don't know what that is. Anthropic. Don't know what kind of website that is either. Not feeling like looking into it today. Biden administration reducing Intel chip grant below $8 billion. Yeah, they're doing the stuff on the way out to kind of screw over the next administration. That kind of thing does happen. There's like grant money and stuff that hasn't been spent yet, and now all of a sudden they're trying to get it out of the door. Where I guess previously they were holding on to it so they could use it for other crap if they got reelected, maybe. Blue Sky breaking the rules in the EU, and I guess if you do that, I mean, they've hit Apple, they've hit the Google, or at least tried. They won at least one of those. I think they won against Apple. Oh, the right to repair thing, I think, for Apple. Cracks emerge in NVIDIA's AI armor. What's an investor to do? You don't invest in single stocks. See, and so instead of your money having a bunch in NVIDIA, you don't do that. You just get a nice large cap fund that has NVIDIA in it, but all the other companies as well. And that also helps you when Tesla is down almost 4%. But look, all the rest of these more than make up for that downage. And of course, your mutual fund would have way more stocks in it than just those 6 or 7. Self-half rule. All right, I do want to know what that is. Tesla stock lower as UBS says animal spirits rather than fundamentals driving monster rally. Okay, just somebody blah 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 talking. Let's just see what this is, then we'll get to questions. Oh, let's see, before I get to that, let's catch up with the thing. What up, say hi to HB. What up, Trey? Mama call him Trey, Daddy call him Trey, I call him Trey. What up, Maddie Bags? Hashtag mention. That's from the song, the Baby Steppin' song. And Sid is here. So everybody can relax. Sid is here. Let's see what this sell half, not self. I thought it said self. The sell half rule. Let's see what that is. Helps lock in profits while letting winners ride, protecting investors from the violent reversals common in early stage companies. Yet, despite my 106 gain on Archer Aviation from my $2.92 average cost basis, built through careful position scaling during market dips, I'm breaking the time-tested rule. The reason? Perfect storm of catalysts suggests this rally could be just beginning. Suggest and could be. Suggest and could be. Meaning you'd have no idea. Let's examine this electric aircraft pioneer. Why this electric aircraft pioneer might deserve special treatment, even as a highly speculative investment. Well, we don't do those. Those are not advised. You're not doing single stocks. You're not doing day trading or any of that dumb crap if you're following the Ramsey advice. And yes, another day, another dollar where I forgot to go to the right one. We're probably going on probably 8 days ago still. Since I haven't been doing the weekend stream, the questions have been piling up. Actually thought about doing one Saturday night, but decided not to. Decided to work on pre-recorded videos instead. Let's see, we were 6 days ago. Tesla question. Start chipping away at mortgage. Budget update. Defeat a family plus 4 per pet. We did that one. Okay. Stacker MZ. I don't think we did this one. Hesitant to start chipping away at mortgage. Change my mind. Well, they've got this exact question today. And you don't debt leverage your house by keeping the mortgage around and investing the money elsewhere to make the difference in the higher interest. And the reason before that is when you're doing that math on your calculator, yeah, if you're making 5% on it, that's going to be more than a 2% mortgage interest rate. But what you don't have on the calculator is that risk button. And so you're not supposed to debt leverage your house in order to invest it or to have a big stockpile of cash savings. You're not supposed to do that per the Ramsey advice. You can do whatever you want, and you bother to be on the Ramsey subreddit, and you bother to pick the baby step 4, 5, and 6 flare, but you don't want to do baby step 6. All right, let's see. Recently in the baby step 6, after paying off $315,000 in debt and getting the e-funds sorted, okay, emergency funds sorted, okay, I'm going to stop after every sentence and deconstruct my boy here. Or, young lady, I think it's a boy figure there, not sure. After paying off $315K in debt and getting the emergency fund and sorted. So what I'm going to ask you here is, why didn't you just keep that $315K in debt and then invest the difference? Instead of, why don't you just pay minimums on that and invest the difference? Investing is going to be better than paying off debt, right? Am I right? And getting the emergency fund sorted, why did you need an emergency fund? Why don't you just not have an emergency fund and invest that money instead? That's better, right? See, that's what I mean. People don't think logically or something. They just like hook on to one thing, especially if they hear some financial bro advice about the investing instead of paying off the mortgage early. Let's see, not sure to do with my money now. Okay, here's what I'm going to suggest. You thought it was fine to do step 2, and you thought it was fine to do step 3, then maybe you do 4, 5, and 6, as Dave suggests as well. Just a thought. And as Dave often says and said today, if you pay off your mortgage and are 100% out of debt and you do not like it, they will give you a mortgage on that house. You can debt leverage that house afterwards. You can go back into debt. You can get back in touch with Visa and MasterCard and knock yourself out, Discover even, as well. You can do all of that stuff if you don't like it. But you decided to do steps 1, 2, and 3. So what is the difference now? There's not any. There's just difference in your head here. If I take the broke normal route, making normal payments, and would have the house paid off in January 2052, and that's a lot of interest there. If I pour absolutely all extra resources toward it, not exactly gazelle intense, but tight, reasonable budget, all right, we'd be done February 2028. That's 4 years. Yeah, you don't want to be done with paying off your house in 4 years. You'd rather wait until, what is that, 38? 28 years. So 4 years versus 28 years more mortgage payments, and you'd rather have the 28 years of mortgage payment. If I loosened up and did half investments, half mortgage, done October 2030. And so now you're just trying to do half season. That's not advice either. What would you do and what would Dave do? Now, you know damn well what Dave would do. That's so dumb. If you know enough to choose the flare, baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and assuming that since you did steps 1, 2, and 3 apparently correctly, then on step 4, 5, and 6, you would see where it says pay off your mortgage early. So what the heck do you think Dave would do? So dumb. I hate it when people act dumb. I understand if they think they might want to do something different and they just want opinions from the world and they got 145 of them. And I'm sure they're probably split half and half about, yeah, you should definitely do that. Keep the loan around and make the extra interest on it because mathematically that is probably going to be a win. Certainly, probably half the people did say do that, but the other half said, "No, you do. I thought you were doing the baby steps. You're acting like you're doing the baby steps." And so now you finally found. I mean, you didn't feel like that with the 315K in debt, and why not? And you got the emergency fund sorted instead of investing that money. Why did you not do? Why did you do that? I'm guessing it was for a financial piece. And guess what? That happens when you pay off the freaking house too. So again, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can do all the baby steps correctly except the last one. You can certainly do that yourself, but you're going against what you believed in to begin with to even start this. I don't remember reading that one before, but I did read this one. A medical doctor and CPA couple sharing their actual finances. We did look at that. How to build myself a good foundation. This from President Spec. President Spec or President's Peck. I don't know. 42. How to build myself a good foundation. I consider myself very lucky to be free of debt, save for a few hundred I owe a family member that I'm expecting to pay off in the next week or so. Great. I'm young and have had a few different jobs through high school, but didn't save any money from them. That's normal. I graduated last year and I'm starting work at a gas station tomorrow, which I feel like for me will be my first job with some amount of security and not getting let go out of the blue. Okay. I know it's not high paying, but a low paying job is better than no job, right? Correct. While you're working there, you can continue to look for a better job. I'm living in my mother's trailer, which is fully paid off. And her name, you mean is in her name? She said, as long as I take care of the lot rent and bills, I'm free to live here. Okay. The problem with that is she can change her mind at any time. And I can start chipping away at buying it from her and putting it in my name. Yeah, if you want to. Trailers are not going to be what Mr. Ramsey would advise. Start with an apartment, work your way up to buying a house. Gonna need a lot more money though. Let's see. Putting in my name about $10,000. She's currently living a few towns away with my aunt for her new job, and it's just me here. Okay, I have a mostly reliable car. Mostly, they mostly come at night. That's from Aliens. Paid off to get to work and back, so I don't need to worry about that right now. Fabulous. All of this to say, I have no debt, stable living situation, reliable car, but also no substantial amount of money. I'm not planning on staying at the gas station forever, and I do plan to get a better paying job once I do have a small cushion set up. You don't need to wait till you have a cushion saved up. You can get a better paying job as soon as you can. Because as soon as you switch to a better paying job, you'll have the small cushion saved up sooner. So, standard, this does seem like very, very young person, teenagery type of thinking here and writing. I'm asking for advice in budgeting and making the money that make stretch that I make, I guess, stretch further. I've always been bad with money, and this will be my first experience being on my own, paying for my own life and bills. I watched a good amount of the Dave Ramsey clips on YouTube. Great. And they all seem to be focusing on getting out of debt, which isn't an issue for me. I couldn't find any that related to my situation. Then you didn't look. So don't just scroll it like it's TikTok. Do a search for Dave Ramsey and then exactly what you want to ask about budgeting and sticking to your budget, it would sound like. But so you, during high school, where you spent all the money that you worked for, during that was the time you did that. Now you're not going to spend any of it on crap. Just cut your budget down to nothing, and then you can get that full emergency fund. And that full emergency fund doesn't become part of any buying a trailer fund. That's two different things. First, you get the emergency fund together. That's 3 to 6 months of your personal expenses, and that can be 3 months for a single person. That's fine. But you gotta search for that. It may not come up because the debt stuff is the most popular, it would seem. So you can't just scroll through it again like it's TikTok. So actually Google Dave Ramsey and budget, or sticking to budget, and things like that. Any question you have, you can check for that on the YouTube, because there's a ton of clips on there. Not in a bad place right now, and I'm thankful for that. If I could talk, I'm looking for advice on how to keep it that way. Thanks. Well, like I said, you do the opposite of your high school, working and spending it all. Now you're going to work and you're not going to spend any money on any extra stuff until you get that emergency fund. No eating out, for example. So you cut the budget to the bone. Bad. Bad to the budget. Right. So, and that's how you build yourself a good foundation, by not having any debt and having the full emergency fund. And then from there, that's when you would go into moving up to an apartment, or if you insist on buying that trailer, which I know that can keep expenses down, but you might want to join the real world and do an apartment instead. And once in an apartment, then start saving for a house. Let's see what's up in the old. I still don't know why my chat keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. Weird. Salisbury steak recipe for Sid. If you like the way that flows, then I would suggest you write the song and send it to Steve. Okay, I didn't see anybody. It could have been when the chat was disconnected for me, but I didn't see any lyrics. Somebody asking, is that Jay? Is that Jay being obsessed with me again? Oh, the trolls. If there was only money involved in trolls being obsessed with you, unfortunately there's not. So it's just annoying. If you like the way that Baba did that. Magical Elixir was under the impression the songs were written by Sid and her hubby. Nope, just the one. Yeah, the original Baby Step song, she gave me some ideas. And she wrote that Bad Habits Lead to Debt one. Absolutely. Yeah, all right. So whatever your idea for a song was, and the reason that this one didn't really work out, at least so far, it was because I wasn't that I knew of the song and basically how it goes, but it seems like it's in a really bad key for me, and again, I'm not as familiar with the flow, for lack of a better word, of that actual original song. So it's possible I can get better at it. It's possible. So if it's a song I don't know about, that's why the ones when I write them, obviously, and writing it, I'm fitting it in there so I know exactly how it's supposed to go and everything. Oh, let's see. Elevator Charming 9248. New Tesla Y with 0% financing and tax credit. A bad idea. Well, let's see. Let's see. With 0% financing, so the 0% there doesn't matter. Big deal. It's a 0%. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that means something. It does not, as far as the Ramsey advice. So this could just say new Tesla Y with financing. So that's not a house, right? That's not a mortgage. So if it's not a mortgage, that means that's a no for Mr. Ramsey. You do not buy cars with financing or loans or anything like that except cash on the barrelhead. So may have missed it if you haven't watched many Ramsey shows. If you haven't watched 5 minutes of the Ramsey show before, maybe you think you're an exception or something, or you just don't know. You haven't heard of him, but somehow, again, on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, somehow, person didn't put what baby step they're on, though. So unlike the other one where the guy did, and he did steps 1, 2, and 3 fine, but just all of a sudden he thinks he's smarter now on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Let's see. So yeah, this is the no matter what this says. Let's see. Hello, hi guys. With the new government in place in a few months, has nothing to do with your life or your finances at all. With the new government in place, should not change any of your financial decisions. That does not change any of the Ramsey advice. When the new government coming in was not the person that Dave Ramsey voted for, that still did not change any of the Ramsey advice. Dumb. The $7,500 crack tax credit, we don't do that crap. That's a no. Is set to end. Yeah, that's great. It doesn't need to be a tax credit for it because there's no need for everybody to go to electric. No need. Plus Tesla is now offering a 0%. So, should I go for it or just let it slip? It's, what is that? Lose yourself, Eminem. Or just buy a used Tesla at 7% interest rate. No, there's no loans for cars. What are you missing about? I mean, maybe just brand new to Dave, I guess, or just thinks he's an exception or something like that, or just because it's something that he wants, it doesn't apply. The no debt thing doesn't apply. Mr. Ramsey's the no debt guy, so this would be a no. I have to give my car to my kid, as the kid will be going to college in 6 months. You don't have to do anything. So this is the same thing as people use I have to and I need way too liberally, to use the word. You do not have to give your car to your kid. The child could work for money, and if they need a car before they go to college in 6 months, that's not your fault. Maybe if they can't get around without a car at college, then maybe they defer enrollment. I forgot my water. I'll make it much longer. Not much longer. About half an hour to go. So we'll have a little parched meter going on here. We won't. I won't put that in. I could, but I won't. Impressive habit 99. Question: starting baby steps today. And today is the best day that you can do it if you didn't do it yesterday. So today is great. Good job. I have $25,000 in a savings account. Savings is not a thing. You can say in savings or in a savings account. And so, yeah, that goes down to $1,000 then, my friend. So you're doing well. So you can apply $24,000 to debt. So $2,000 on a credit card, $13,000 on a vehicle. That is $15,000, and then the rest of the $24,000 you can apply to your uh, emergency fund then. So some of it could stay right in that savings. They can stay in a savings as your emergency fund, or at least the start of your emergency fund, because that's for that last debt is for mortgage. So, and that's fabulous. You having that much in saving, that is not the advice, because if you had paid off this crap beforehand, this credit card and vehicle, then you would have not paid any interest on those. So again, a lot of people are clueless about this. You do not save up an amount of money and then present all of that at once like that's better or something to pay the debt off, or it's the opposite way too for investing. And let's bring up the investing so that we can, well, do I have it here anymore? Or did I close it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's there. My bad. I didn't realize it. It didn't switch right away, I guess, so I didn't notice it. S&P 500. Let's do 5 years so we get the Pandy crash. I like to use the Pandy crash as the example here. So you don't save it. So if you like all of a sudden, let's say, to make the point the most pertinent it can be. So you're talking about you start at the low point here of the Pandy crash. Okay. 6 months it's back to where it was. So now, by waiting to buy, by saving up a bigger pile of cash to buy mutual funds with, you have lost all of this growth. So how you need to do that, instead of saving it up, is you invest here out of that paycheck, invest here out of that paycheck, invest here out of that paycheck. However often you get paid, once a week or every 2 weeks or whatever. If some people get paid every 2 weeks and only invest once a month, that's fine. It's proven that you do make more money the more often you invest, rather than trying to time the market, and also just by trying to save up a big amount, like you think, oh well, I'm putting a big amount in right away and then that makes it better. No, that is not how that works. Especially if you would save it up and buy it right here, right before the Pandy crash, and you saved your money up and you missed all of the gains before that, and then you put all that money in. And I've talked with people like this. There've been people like this in the Ramsey Show chat, that they just got into the market right here and then it goes down, and they didn't like that, so they sold the money and they locked in those losses. If they would have kept it in there for 6 months, they would have gotten every single cent of that back. Dumb. All right, so I mean, and they of course didn't understand that, but they also didn't try to understand that either. Let's see. So you do not overreact to market changes. But let's see, what's the rest? And the rest can go into a savings. Okay, so that's just the way this person talks. Into a savings for gathering the 3 to 6 months of expenses. Well, you can just use it in that same savings account. You can just leave it in there and have that be your emergency fund savings account. Then I can start with step 4. Yes, I'm just scared to use my savings like that. What? But I know I need to manage that better. Use your savings for what? It's not going to be used for anything except emergencies. So I don't get that. You don't put that amount of money into the market. That's not what that is for. Doesn't say, well, let's look at the Ramsey version of that. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. You do not apply that to any other baby step or anything else in your life except an emergency is the only thing you apply that money to. Best case scenario is you never have to touch the $1,000 starter emergency fund. And then once you get it up to 3 to 6 months of expenses, again, best case scenario is that you never touch that money, because that means you do not have any emergencies and then don't have to replenish the emergency fund. Every emergency, you would immediately stop whatever baby steps you're on and you would put all the money going into replenishing the emergency fund. So best case scenario is you never touch the emergency fund at all. So let's say I'm ready. Just want confirmation from somebody who isn't a newbie like me. Thank you. I also have $12,000 that I haven't mentioned in a TFS, tax-free savings account. That is that military, I think, and that's tax deferred. So that is a penalty to take that out, I believe, which I believe is the same as a Roth. Yeah, I think that's the government version, military version of the Roth, I believe. And so, which you will be adding to. Okay. Now, shouldn't have been contributing to that if you have a choice. I don't know. Maybe they don't give you a choice on that. Like teachers cannot opt out of that, I don't think. How do I find out what 15% of my income is looking at my tax? Well, it's the amount you make per year from everything times 0.15 is your 15%. Let's see if there are more questions. Looking at my tax papers, yeah, you can base it on last year's, or you can base it on the new year's as you go along. And like I said, what you can do is take 15% out of every check, or 15% of every month, that kind of thing. Cool. Wrangler Old 3366. How do you prepare? Let's get in back to the chat. Nothing new. All right. How do you prepare for future big purchases beyond the baby steps? You would do the same thing. You would put a sinking fund for that. Now, if you're doing a bathroom remodel, maybe that would be a stinking fund. Maybe. A sinking fund, you would do that regardless of whether you're on step 7. So on step 7 doesn't change anything about the budget. You should be making a monthly budget for the rest of your life. No matter how much money you have, you should be doing a budget. Now, you can spend a lot more money and put a lot more vacations and other nonsense in the budget. That's fine at that point, for sure. You can do whatever you want in baby step 7, except go to a lower baby step. You would not want to do that. Now we're focused on baby step 5 and 6. But didn't start at the beginning. My wife and I are recently married and follow the baby steps. Excellent. Completed steps 1 through 4. You have not completed step 4. Step 4 is eternal. Steps 4, 5, and 6 you do all at the same time. And you would not even stop this in step 7 if you're still working. If you're still working, there's no need to stop that. Also, even if you are retired and you don't need 15% of your money, or any whatever percent you don't need, you can still invest that for your heirs to build wealth, as it says right here. Or you can, if you want to build it for yourself to spend it, you can just put it in a brokerage account instead of your Roth IRA. Let's see. Okay, so you don't complete step 4, so that's incorrect. Paying off all debt, that is correct. That is completed. And don't ever take out any more, and you won't have to pay any more off. Building a fully funded emergency fund and investing 15% of our income. Okay, now we're focused on baby steps 5 and 6. Again, 4, 5, and 6 are all together in that order too. So that 15%, that comes first out of your previous snowball amount, which is your extra amount that was going to debt and then to do the fully funded emergency fund. Now that extra money gets applied to 4, 5, and 6 in that order as they apply. Sometimes there's renters and they don't have a mortgage. Sometimes people don't have children, or they decide not to help them with college. And all that's fine, but you get to decide whether any of that applies to you. But we're also looking at future purchases. Of course you are. And on step... Oh, this wasn't step 1. Okay, this is step 4, 5, and 6. And of course people are looking ahead. They always look ahead. Future expenses in the next 5 to 10 years. We anticipate needing to purchase new cars, make home renovations and repairs, and possibly save for a down payment on a new home. Why do you need a new home? Why do you need a bigger house? Why? So I would challenge you on that. And if you're on step 7, more power to you. But the idea is that you don't save a down payment and get a mortgage on a house. It's that you save up for it and you pay full cash between your savings and what you sell your current house for. And you don't need a bigger house than that one. Let's see. So the idea is not to trade in mortgages every 5 years. That's not the idea behind the baby steps. Let's see. But see, you can't do everything all at the same time. And now, granted, steps 4, 5, and 6, you're better off as far as being able to accomplish most of it, maybe, than you would be if you're in steps 1, 2, or 3 still. So let's see. Let's look at it again. What we got? Next 5 to 10 years. Anticipate needing to purchase new cars in 5 to 10 years. Or guess what? Or your cars might still be running then. Make home renovations and repairs. If you're gonna possibly save for a down payment on a new house, why would you renovate that one? Dumb. Repairs have to happen. And so if it's an emergency, that can come out of the emergency fund. If it's a repair that is more of a remodel, then you have to save up for that. And guess what? And this is the whole thing. You cannot send kids to college and pay off your current mortgage and save for new cars and renovations and repairs and a down payment on a new house. You cannot do all of that at the same time. You are limited, and what you're limited to, guess what, my friend, is baby steps 4, 5, and 6. You are doing those and none of this other stuff. None of this other stuff. Now, if you got a car on its last legs, great. Start a car replacement sinking fund for just one car at a freaking time. Okay? Just because one spouse needs a new car, and needs is subjective a lot of times, but the chances of both of you needing to have it is slim. It's more like, oh, well, if he gets a new car, I want a new car too. Dumb. That's so dumb. So don't do that. Most of your money is going to be going to steps 4, 5, and 6. And only then, after that, then you can start to try to do multiple of this stuff. But then it's like right now it's going to be 4, 5, and 6. Just about exclusively until you are done with steps 5 and 6. Granted, again, you'll be investing the rest of your life, hopefully. But also, what also is going to slow this other stuff down, you didn't mention vacations. So, 2 new cars, for some reason, don't know why they need to be new. They can be used. Home renovations and repairs, and saving a down payment on a new home. Every time you go out to eat, you are making that take longer to happen. Every time you go on vacation, you're making all of that take longer to happen. You have a limited amount of money. And steps 4, 5, and 6 do not happen as fast as steps 1, 2, and 3. And so that's more of a long haul deal. So the more things that you want to do, more future big purchases you want to do, of which all of them seem optional to me. Granted, a repair, if it's broken, if you have a leak in the bathroom, you need to fix the leak. You do not need to remodel the entire bathroom. And some people get tricked into doing that, or trick themselves into doing that. And so people are just nutty, man. Nutty, man. Great that you've done step 1 through 4. and not completed for 4, but that means you completed 1 through 3 and have started 4. That's fabulous. You're in a much better place than you were if you didn't have step 3 done, and we're still in debt for definite for sure. But simmer down now. Make some headway on steps 4, 5, and 6 for a little bit before you start planning on spending all of your money elsewhere on optional things. 4, 5, and 6 are not optional. 5 is, you can choose not to, or if you don't have children, 5 doesn't apply to you. You can just choose to be a renter for life, and then 6 won't apply to you, but you are in a house, so you need to pay that one off before you sell it. And what you move up to needs to be covered by the amount of cash that you have saved for that move and the equity in the house. And not we're gonna get a mortgage the same amount that we have now, and plus put the equity to it and buy way more house than we need. And so also see, this makes it also, while you're doing steps 4, 5, and 6, guess what's going to happen? Your kids are going to get older. So if they are your justification station for needing a bigger house, then that's a no, because they're going to be going to college in a few years. And so you don't need a house for just a few years. A freaking mansion. You don't need that. Let's see. Lit cam 15. Just a question I was curious about. Well, this will be good. Boom, boom, boom. Stinking fun, just 4 bad purchases. That's a good one, Sid. Like it. Well, in that case, I meant to say it incorrectly then. Like a brand new car, pre-millionaire status, right? Some people, she says, this is what she said, think they can front load the 15%, I guess. Or once they set it and forget it, they just tick that one off as done. I guess. But it's not done. But yeah, I mean, if they do set it and forget it, yeah, I mean, and that's a way for it to get away from you. That's a way you set it and forget it. And before you know, 5 years has gone by, and guess what? You're the crap that they put you in because you didn't choose it, and it's not a it's not a managed fund that you have checked out or even looked at all, and it's making less than the index even. So that's how that happens. So you can't be too set it and forget it, or you might get screwed over. They don't need to save up a down payment for a future house. Use the equity in the current house as the down payment. Yeah, that too, again, but it's not meant to that you go from a $200,000 house to a $500,000 house. Again, especially if as the years go by, you're losing kids to college and moving out anyway, so you don't need the extra room. That's dumb, just because somebody wanted a bigger house that called in today. And the man was that apparently made all the money, and he did all the sacrificing, and she didn't do anything apparently except want a larger house. And she actually picked out the one that they're in now, and that was their whole deal, and that was his fault because he went along with that. So, you got to discuss these things and make a plan going forward, and not just find out that your wife wants a bigger house and then be mad about it and then call Dave. You need to talk about that with your wife. Question I was curious about. Again, lit cam 115. I'm not to this point yet. Okay. He knows. Okay, great. Or she. But I was just curious what happens to a 529 plan if my kid decided not to go to college. Can use on a technical institute as well. Would all of that money be lost? Thanks in advance. Okay, see, the problem with the 529 plan is that those are state specific and they have different rules. So you would need to check for your state. But some of them can be rolled to a different family member, but it can be cousin, nephew, any like a distant relative. That can happen. And some of them can be used for technical institutes and other trade jobs as well. Some of them can. So on a 529, you do have to check it. The ESA is national, so that's the same rules for everybody. And on that one, I'm pretty sure that can be transferred to a different family member. Objective present or objective present, like arms present 961. Should I work during school to pay off debt faster or just focus on school right now? Yes, work during school. I just started school back up again this fall and it's going well. Right now I make $3,300 a month because of my GI Bill and VA disability. Also work part-time as CNA. We read this one already. They do switch around sometimes when you resort them a different day. So we did this already, but yeah, if you can work, work. The disability might have something to do with that, why you couldn't work. And so that's up for you and your doctor to decide on that. But if you can work, work. You know, and I think my example on this was, okay, so if you're not working, are you at home scrolling the TikTok all the time you're not at school? Or playing some Call of Duty or something, brah? Are you doing that when you're not working? Or do you have your nose in the books the whole time? I mean, yeah, while you're not working. The time you would be working when you're not in actual class. So if you're doing that dumb crap, scrolling and Call of Duty while you could be working, get your butt to work. Future Mrs. 33 needs some guidance. All right. My goal is to save a year of expenses in addition to my 3 months emergency fund. That is not advised. I'm really close to reaching my goal, but I have an 8K loan at 2.99%. That is not the advice. You should have $1,000 while you still have debt. What don't people understand about a list? List, step 1, check. And then you move on to step 2. And oh, guess what? You grow your $1,000 savings into a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. You do not move on from the paying debt off. You're doing it wrong. The interest rate of my high yield savings account is 4%. So again, debt leveraging there to have a high yield savings account amount. And if you want to do that, you can do that. Let's see if there's any other stuff here that applies. But you can do whatever you want to, but that is not the Ramsey plan, not the Ramsey advice. So you just made that up in your own mind, or you got that from TikTok or Financial Bros or industry standard advice or some crap like that. I don't know where you got that, but that was not from Mr. Ramsey's advice. But every day I wake up and want to be done with it. Well, that is the idea of the Ramsey advice. So then quit your crap and then pay it off. I don't understand. You make up your mind, my child. Make up your mind. Mind you must make up. I'm also saving for a car. And again, trying to do everything all at the same time. Anyhow, I want to have a year's savings. That's a no. No. Not if you're going to follow Dave's advice. You're not doing that. You're applying that money to other stuff. Let's see. Because I was almost laid off in 2008 and then in 2017 my old job was restructured. Yeah, and then you get another job as fast as you can. It's not going to take you a year to get another freaking job. That is what the 3 to 6 month emergency fund is. If you want to go 6 months instead of 3 months, then that's fine. But 6 months is maximum, so you can get further down the baby steps and don't have a disaster fund for if somehow you can't find a job in a year. Guess what? If you can't find a job in 6 months, of which you should have emergency fund to cover, if you can't find a job, you're being too picky, and you are the problem at that point. I was looking to find something within the company before I was laid off. It doesn't have to be within the same company. See, this is you making it more difficult for yourself. This is your choice here. Then Pandy got lucky, but not many in my company were as fortunate. So for my mental health and financial safety, justification station here. Hashtag justification station for this person. I need, no you don't need it, need at least a year of savings, and I'm only a couple thousand away from that goal. And so you just want to do it your own way, and that's fine to do. But why, again, why ask on the Ramsey subreddit? Why ask? Why ask? Why not just do it? If that's what you need, then why bother asking? And you talk about you want to be done with it. That's because that's the light side of the force. Okay? Your little crap that you're doing is the dark side of the force. So hear the call to the light. The light is calling out to you. Just let it in. Truth Finder 9616 update on the job I love. This is dedicated to the job I can't remember how that song goes. It was just dedicated to the boy I love, I think. Long store short, okay. Is that like Walmart or something? I kid. Supposed to be long story short, I'm assuming. From the Austin area, Texas. Assuming. There's probably other Austins in the United States. I just graduated with a bachelor's in exercise physiology and human performance. All right, what kind of money in that, dog? Hope you didn't go to private school for that. Work at a chiropractic clinic, 35 hours a week, $18 per hour. On Fridays, I make $24 per hour per client. Great. You can work extra somewhere else when you're not working there. Not going to get too much into detail with how the pay works because I don't want to disclose the clinic. Alrighty. Like y'all see in the caption, the job is great, but the pay is terrible. I'm being home about $2,400 a month. I don't know what I'm being home about $2,400 a month means. I have no idea what that is. Let's see if we can figure it out. Family of four, wife and I are in about $50K of debt as well. We're doing the debt snowball, but snowball is one word. But we're barely getting by. Well, that's because you either started before you graduated or right when you graduated, you started getting what we call the, what's that called? Darn it. Lifestyle creep. Instead be a widow. That's one of the songs in the music playlist. Can't believe I couldn't remember it. I guess the advice I'm looking for, this is not the advice you're looking for. Everything goes back to Star Wars always. Should I just look for a better paying job? You can, so we can get out of debt faster. Yes, you can do that. Or you can get a part-time job and work extra. Since you're only working 35 hours there, that leaves at least 5 hours before you're even working full-time. Or do I just make do with what I have and grind it out? Update, I got a different job. New job. Guys. So young. Such a baby here. $19 an hour after 90 days. I'll get a review and make $20 an hour, and I'm still going to keep the chiropractic clinic on Mondays due. Have some extra cash. I've also been door dashing a lot. Great. That's great. Working extra. Exactly what was that? Update. We paid off $6,000 since I made the post. Great. I don't know when you made the original post. But cool. Or maybe this was it. Maybe this was the original post and he just updated this original post rather than making a new post with the old one and the update. So cool. So good job. So I'm doing exactly what I said to do in advance, and there you already did it. So great. Figured it out. And the Ramsey advice is not that difficult. Anybody that thinks it's difficult, you're not trying to understand it because you don't want to, usually. Let's see. Logical Rip 7168. How much to save for a house? Well, you need as much down payment as you need to get the mortgage down to where on a 15-year fix, there's no getting a 30-year, so you can stretch out the payment so you can afford it. That means you're allowing yourself to buy too much house there, and that's a no from Mr. Ramsey. So you would have to put enough to get the mortgage down to an amount where that mortgage payment per month is 25% of your take-home pay. Let's see, we make about 40,000 a year self-employed and could be making more if desired. Well, if you want a better house, make more if desired. We want to buy a small home, current rent 1K, which has been no problem. So 25% is $833 a month. Okay, with a 15-year fix, that's only a $100,000 house. Exactly. What's the problem? So if you want more than that, then you got to make more than that, which isn't going to cut it. Why not? You don't have a small house now. What are you living in now? So if you're living in like a 1-bedroom apartment right now, or you're in a 2-bedroom apartment, and you're buying a house, that is an upgrade. So why is that not going to cut it? People are so dumb with their little crap. I mean, I understand. Why don't you just say, but that's a fixed mortgage, that it's only a $100,000 house. I want one that's more expensive. Why don't you just put that there and say it's not going to cut it? You are the one that decides what cuts it. I think a 200K, and you said think. You didn't say definitely. You said you think. At home on a 30-year fix with 20% down payment with mortgage, 13% is fine. Well, then why are you posting it in the subreddit then? Am I missing something? Yeah, you're being dumb. You're buying too much house. There's a reason Mr. Ramsey has this advice, and this is not to keep you down. It's to keep your lifestyle from getting ahead of your income. It's so you can live on less than you make. It's so your finances are better. His advice is not to keep you down and keep you from getting things that you want. It's to keep you from being a stupid idiot, which is what you're going to do. Let's see. Current goal is to save 50K towards a home. Edit. Check the books. 47K gross for this year, and Roth is fully funded. 10K in investments that can be cashed out. If it's in a retirement account, you can't. Per the advice, you can't do that. 60K in cash in the bank. Also doesn't say that he's on baby step 3B. You have to be on baby step 3B, which is save the down payment, which means you have no non-mortgage debt, and means you also have the full emergency fund. And if you're buying a house, I would get 6 months in that full emergency fund of expenses. Before you even start to save the down payment. Plans out to work more next year and give current customers a price increase. Okay, great. Go ahead. Do that. But it's based off of your income, not the fact that it's based on how high your income is, not how you can get it to work with buying too much house. That's not the idea. So if that's what you want to do, you can do it. You certainly, the Ramsey police aren't going to show up like the freaking TVA. I can do Marvel references as well. The TVA is not going to show up when you get ready to sign that and, and prune you because you're getting ready to do that. That's not going to happen. Ramsey doesn't have any TVA people like that. So you're fine doing this. It's just dumb as crap to do. Because once you buy too much house, then guess what? Then the steps 4, 5, and 6 take so much longer to complete. And if you're gonna screw up that one, you're gonna get the lifestyle creep happening, and do some other dumb stuff too. So, and that's gonna make it take even longer. So, not a good idea, and that is the reason that is not advised. Sid, are you a member of AAA? AAA is advised if you have one incident where you have to call them to rescue you on the side of the road, that pays for the yearly fee for that. So yeah, AAA advised. Some insurances have similar programs. Make sure they do everything that AAA does if you're going to do that. Oh, here we go. How do you save for large purchases when you have enough cash? What does that mean? How do you save for large purchases when you have enough cash? If you have enough cash, you can buy them in cash. That cash can't be your full emergency fund, though. This is going to be more people being illogical. I am not a Dave Ramsey guy, but I know this community is crafty. Okay, we don't have any quick fixes for you. Try the TikTok. I have a large purchase I want to make, and I have enough money on hand to do so. But if that was the only criteria, I would keep making large purchases until I can't pay out of pocket. The company I want to purchase from has zero interest financing. That's a no. But you're not a Ramsey guy, so what do you care? I don't understand. Why did you just want, because we have crafty people. But see, we're not going to have a way that advises you to finance, I wouldn't think. Let's see. Which would keep more money in the bank account. I know this community will be against that, which is fair. Yeah, it should be. To be fair, it does have Dave Ramsey's name right on it. Reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. The other option is to pay outright and then use the money from my miscellaneous fund each month until I pay off the amount that I used. Well, no, if it's all in cash, there's no paying off to do it. You moving it to your little different funds is not paying it off. So you even thinking that way is so freaking illogical that I can't handle it, if that's even what it is. But but is that referring back to the zero interest financing? But then I just have less cash on hand. My wife and I each have a sum of money we can spend on just whatever, and I would like to use that money to pay it back. Okay, I'm over it because this is so freaking dumb to be have your mind that thinks like that. Oh well, I have this stack of cash that says this, and this bank account that says this, and this bank account that says this. You take from all of them to buy something that you really want to buy, enough to deplete those funds. If you don't want to buy it enough to deplete those funds, then you don't buy it. There is no financing. So, and even if there is financing, again, why, if you're just going to take it from there to pay that off anyway? That is so dumb. That is so dumb, sir. And that was Donut Lord XO2. Every dollar QR code. Does anyone have an image of the 90-day every dollar app QR code? I don't have a bookstore nearby that would have access to the book. I don't know what that QR code is. The 90-day? Is that a free trial of it or something? And I wouldn't imagine that is just out there on the internet. You probably check RamseySolutions.com. If it's something that they offered and are still offering it, it would be on there. Just curious. 20 debt-free stream except mortgage. Excellent. To God be the glory doing our stream here, because I don't think we qualify to do it with Dave due to our Dave-ish approach. Maybe. Wife and I got married in early summer 2020. Pandy saved us 10 to 25K. Since we could not have a big party, no refund for the band we already hired, so we asked them to play outdoor at a senior retirement home. Fabulous. That's great thinking. Since you couldn't get the money back, let's listen to a band anyway. After the ceremony at church, we had a beautiful and intimate backyard celebration for a party of 9, our parents and kids. We went to a beach for 2 days for a honeymoon. From there, we started what is our financial journey together. Okay, we just submitted the last payment for a student loan last night. Since 2020, we paid off car loan, almost $35,000. Let's see what else. just to see what they didn't do correctly. Student loan, $498,250. Balloon from the 285K due to minimum only payments and PSLF. And then did you end up paying it off because it didn't get forgiven? That is the dumbest crap. So a college graduate paid all that interest on a degree that might not even be worth the 285. Oh my goodness, total debt paid off 533. So I don't know if she's including this or he. Let's see. We took advantage of student loan pause. That's not the student loan pause took advantage of you. No new interest was accrued during the last 4 years for us. We were on PSLF program before our marriage. Thus, the loan ballooned to 498K. We decided to pay it off as fast as we can when we combined our incomes. Yeah, you should have been doing that all along. Dumb. Why didn't you wait for it to be forgiven? Or was it not? Did they tell you, oh, you don't qualify for whatever reason? We had a big pile of debt, still waiting for a ton of those things to get forgiven. And I'm not seeing any stories in the news about that. You would think that would have come out during the election. You think somebody would have gone in and figured out that, oh, under Biden, this is how many were forgiven. I mean, they tried it with all the ones that they announced that were done due to educational institution fraud or mismanagement or whatever. And those kids got their money forgiven. But unless there was some fraud going on, the percentage is still to this day very low for the forgiveness. So that was dumb. Congratulations on owning it and paying it off, though. And that's fabulous. And so I think that, doing that might give you, since you, even though you were Dave-ish, that might give you enough, put you in good graces. You can always apply on the website, and if they don't want you, they'll tell you, or you won't hear from them. Let's see. We had a big pile of debt, but we were also blessed with a big shovel. That's great. Decided to pay our debts before buying things we wanted. Great. Except for the cost of building our family memories. All right. I must admit we did Dave-ish the whole time, as there are some experiences we just cannot forego. Building memory for a new blended family with teenagers. Second time you mentioned that, so you're very proud of that. And that's fine. You get to do what you want. To us, this was much more important investment than monetary investments and worth the 1 to 1.5 years extra time. Okay, that's for you to decide. Congratulations. Admittedly, this would not have been possible without a big shovel we were fortunate to have. Right. A lot of people get crappy degrees for the same or more amount of money. And so that's fabulous. You got the big shovel. But some people get the big shovel and they don't fix their finances. So, doing all right. 16 more months in debt than necessary, right? And that's why Dave has his advice. And you get to choose to do whatever you want to. That's fine. 100K, was that? Oh, 25K a year, summer vacations. Yeah, would not have been advised either in step 2 and 3. $300,000 for house purchase and repairs. Yeah, none of that would be advised during baby steps 1, 2, and 3. That's a nay. We claim by faith that we will be debt-free in 2024, except for mortgage. Okay, great. You claim by faith? So are you not even? You might want to wait until you're actually out of debt instead of like pre-doing it and you plan for it to happen in December, but we'll see. It almost did not happen, but we pushed through. Finally, no more gigantic financial burden on us. Yeah, and it would have been less if you had been less Davish. Tackling mortgage debt. Extra payments is next after replenishing emergency fund. And what happened to the emergency fund? You don't use emergency fund to pay off debt. Oh, is that for repairs for the floors and the AC? Okay, so maybe necessary, maybe not actually emergencies, but used on that. Okay, but we principally follow Dave's principles. Not really. I just want to say it can work for anyone. Yeah, especially if you do it the right way. And now you can breathe. And guess what? Could have breathed sooner than that, but you had other priorities. And so you pay the piper for that. So congratulations on getting where you've gotten. Even though you're a Davish, that's fine. You can do whatever you want to do with your money. Dave's advice is just the best thing to do. C connection 9232. Motivation after baby step 3. Hello, hi guys. Recently completed baby step 3. All right. Paid off 12K in credit card debt and 7K car loan. And then saved 3 months' expense in emergency fund. Single and in a high cost of living area. And my mortgage is a significant chunk of my income. Mortgage, Texas, HOA, and insurance total $2,600, almost half of my take-home pay. And that is not advised. So you either need to work more and quickly get that down to less than almost half of your take-home pay by working a lot more or something if you like that house, or you move down in house, or you sell the house and you rent. My budget didn't allow me much margin. I'm sure it didn't. You're the one that bought that house though. So, and this is the kind of decision that people make, and then they often want credit for that. They also want to also be able to, well, I did that. And so, well, you got to pay the piper for that because there's only limited funds. So you don't get a break for that. Let's see. So to accomplish the babies, see, let's like doing that, buying too much house, and also not doing other baby steps right. That's going to make it even worse and make it take even longer if it even happens at all, because people start changing the stuff like this, and then they'll change something else, and then before you know it, they don't make any progress, and then they quit the baby steps. Happens all the time. So accomplish the first baby steps. I got a side hustle, get back on it, and get that mortgage amount lower, and sold many items that I didn't need. Also slashed my budget, cut out most non-essential purchases, clothing, entertainment, hobbies, vacations, even haircuts. That's fine. I recently had to tell a close friend I wasn't going to her destination wedding. Yeah, that happens, which sucked, but it's definitely worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guess what? If she wanted everybody at her wedding, she would have had it in the same town that you guys are in. Right? Yes. Being destination, being somewhere else, that was priority to that person not having you at their wedding. I'm now done with step 3, but feeling a little burned out. I thought I would feel free, but mainly I feel sad thinking that in order to expand the emergency fund, pay down the mortgage, and save for retirement, I basically can't enjoy spending for many years to come. That's right, because you bought too much house. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why Mr. Ramsey doesn't say buy too much house like that. Right? Now you get it. Now you get it. Like I said, if you don't adhere to the house mortgage guidelines, which is a 15-year fixed, 25% of your take-home pay for the mortgage. If you don't do that, then you don't have enough money to do step 4, the 15%, and save for kid college, if that applies. And you do have a mortgage, and pay that off early. So you do not have the money to do that. You have no margin because you bought too much house, and you can fix it by selling that house and buying a cheaper one. Let's see. So again, this is a person's decision to not follow the Ramsey advice, and they're sad because they can't follow the rest of it. That doesn't make sense at all. You didn't care about following that rule. Why care about following the rest? Just do whatever you want to do at that point. Many years to come. It feels like I can't start reintroducing things I used to love. No, you can't, because you bought too much house. like eating out again or buying a few new items of clothing each season, because that would basically decimate the little savings I can put away each month. You're also not supposed to save more than the emergency fund. You're not supposed to have little savings you can put away each month. That's supposed to go to the other baby steps, and you've screwed yourself by getting too much house. Dumb. And it feels hard to continue side hustling and selling, flipping stuff because it took up literally all of my free time. What else are you doing? This is the sacrifice that you have to make because you bought too much freaking house. Basically, I can continue to live debt free, but I feel like for me that in order to save, I cannot earmark money for anything I might enjoy. That's true. Again, you know why? Because you bought too much freaking house. Basically, I can continue. Oh, I did that part already. Where are we at? It might take me months to save for some non-emergency car repairs that I need. If they're not emergency car repairs that you need, you don't need it. If it's maintenance, you should get that. I guess I'm coming to grips with the fact that I have a cash flow problem. No, you have a too much house buying problem. And so if you want to live in the world where that amount of house is okay, then you have an income problem. It's not a cash flow problem. People are so dumb and they keep making up stuff in their head based on dumb things that they did and not thinking that that dumb thing is the problem. I wonder if the only options are to sell my house. Yes, which I love. Well, then shut up. You cannot be loving the house and wanting to stay in the house and plus wanting all of that stuff. See, you're limited, sweetie, by your income. So you have to get that income up because you live in a high cost of living area. You don't get a pass because you were born in a high cost of living area. You don't get a pass because you wanted to buy that house instead of getting a much, much cheaper house or moving to a different area. You do not get a pass because of the choices that you made. And you didn't make the choice of being born there, probably, but you get to choose whether you stay there or not, and you chose to stay there. So all of this is because of your decisions. Or increase my income. Yeah, if you want to stay there in the house you love, supposedly, then you marry it. And if you're going to marry it, then you are doing all your side hustles and everything to get that so it can be more affordable for you to put so much on the mortgage that it ends up being less interest, and maybe you can refinance it at a lower rate eventually if the rates go down. Anyone else been in this boat? A ton of people have done this, but hopefully, not much more than a ton, because it's just you. I'm sorry, it's just you making a dumb decision. A dumb decision. You just forgot that you didn't make high cost of living money, and you bought a house that requires high cost of living income. So that's on you. You wanting to stay there is on you. You not making more money to stay there is on you. All of it's on you. And so you can't do extra things and also keep the house and stay living there. You can't do all of that spending. You can't do all that at the same time because you are limited by the amount of your income. And that's a little thing we like to call reality, which people have a hard time accepting. So your motivation isn't after baby step 3. It's not the fact that you're done with step 3 and now you're upset. You're upset because of the things that are happening came to pass because you were dumb and bought too much house in that high cost of living area when you don't have a high cost of living area job. All right, the person deleted it, got too hot. Didn't want to keep getting the notifications that people were giving answers the person didn't like, or just tired of getting notifications in general. What up, Tanya? Where to put Roth IRA? I will be contributing the full 1 year for both my wife and I. No, for me and my wife, that's wife. Me and my wife is correct when it's at the end. If it started, me and my wife, that would be incorrect. It'd be my wife and I to start the sentence, but to end it, it's me and my wife. Any Roth IRA before the end of the year, and we'll try to put around $1,000 a month for both of us next year. I'll probably use Vanguard. Can someone tell me what funds they put into it? Growth, income, aggressive growth, international. Right, baby step 4. So it doesn't work like that. And a lot of people, and maybe that's what some of these 12 people, 17 people said, that it doesn't work like that. You're thinking about it wrong. And these are the categories that Dave does recommend you getting managed mutual funds in. And the reason you get managed funds is because they can beat the index even after you take out the higher expense ratio. Growth and income, aggressive growth and international. International is international. Aggressive growth is small caps. And these other two is large cap, and I don't know which order. I can never remember those two. Growth and income are large and mid cap categories. And so, but a lot of people think that Roth IRA is the name of the investment, not just the name of the account that the investment is in, but that's the name of the investment. Like you just transfer the money to, in this case, Vanguard, and you transfer it to your Roth IRA account. If that stays cash, if you do not buy mutual funds with it. So if it just stays cash, you're just getting like a low savings account rate on that money. You have to actually buy the funds. And so they don't automatically put any funds in there. Now, if you set it up to where they put whatever stuff they want in there, or you tell them, a lot of times they don't really spell it out for you, but if you give them your retirement date, or your birth date even, they'll go by, and they will just automatically put you in a target date fund, which generally are going to be lower, less risk investments. And if you have 30 years in the market, you don't need to be in no stinking bonds or other bad investments. So that is not advised to do that. But yeah, it's not like a deal where Roth IRA comes with its own preset investments. That's not how that works. John McAfee for coffee. My emergency fund is in a brokerage account. Nope. Is this acceptable? Nope. And I can't figure out what 3 months of expenses is. Well, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. So let's do that one first. Can't figure out what 3 months of expenses is. Okay, so you know your necessary expenses, the total for each month, your necessary expenses. You know what that amount is? Where it's the same expenses every month. It would be like mortgage or rent. It would be for food, insurances, whatever other expenses you have. It would be that much times 3. So I don't know why people can't figure that out. So, and it's not going to be the same for any two people because people have different expenses. Okay, and the reason in a brokerage account that it's not acceptable is because emergencies do not happen 1 to 3 days later after waiting for that transfer of that. You have to have emergency fund 100% liquid. And so that's a no. So you need an account, high yield savings account too, and that's out too if you don't have immediate access. So you need to have debit card or check writing privileges to that high yield savings account or that brokerage account if they want to give it to you. I don't think they will on a brokerage. I need to know if this is acceptable. That's no. Posted here before and have my $1,000 emergency fund in a savings account. I now was told that I need to have my 3 months in 3 to 6 months of expenses, but I don't know how to calculate it. Just told you. I have created a spreadsheet of every cent leaving, but I don't know what is needed to live and what is optional because some optional things are needed because they help live a life. Okay, quit being stupid. Emergency fund. If you have an emergency and have to spend emergency fund money, you're not getting the things that are needed because they help live a life. Dumb. Quit being dumb, people. Also, if I keep in a brokerage account, is it acceptable? I have been struggling for months. Okay, you know what you're allowed to use? They're free periods between the sentences. See, you did there, but didn't there. I don't know what to do to calculate the emergency fund. Thank you. Okay. Um, who told you you needed to have 3 to 6 months of expenses? First of all, other than the baby steps would tell you, but uh, who if somebody's advising you, why wouldn't you ask them first? I don't get it. But a lot of dumb in here happening, and so I don't know. You know, it could be a troll. You never know. But people do overthink things incredibly. So you have a spreadsheet of every cent leaving, so you know every cent that's leaving a month, and you can't pick out what's absolutely 100% necessary and what's not. The stuff that's optional. Okay? So don't get confused at the thinkings that are needed because they help live a life. That's some bullcrap justification. Okay? You're doing it wrong. All right? That is not part of the emergency fund because you don't, in an emergency, you shouldn't have time to do that stuff that helps you live a life. Dumb. That's the same crap everybody says about, oh, I want to enjoy the now. Go ahead. Go ahead. And so if you're going to have that attitude about that, have that attitude about everything and just spend whatever money you want. Do whatever you want. You don't have to even follow the baby steps. Okay? Do whatever you want and be as dumb as you want. Okay? If you want to do something that is smart to do and take good financial advice, you'll follow the Ramsey plan and you will. I would recommend FPU for you since you can't seem to understand the simple things. So do FPU or come into the Ramsey Show chat and ask in there, and we'll be glad to tell you and explain this stuff to you. But you're doing it wrong, you're overthinking, and I know it, but fortunately, I don't overthink like things that are easy to figure out and that have like definite, quick, easy answers. And so I know every human is different and we all have blind spots of stuff, but this seems like more than normal, Mr. McAfee. And that's why I don't use your antivirus. Because you probably overthought that too. All right, once again, Coach Steve Money, and just scroll down a little bit. You'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow playlist. Plenty in there for you to listen to if you can't get enough of me, if you're obsessed with me like the trolls are. And that would be great if they would just continuously watch my videos. That would be fine. That would be a good trade for them to be obsessed with me and them to watch my videos so I can make a little bit of money off of it. That would be a great trade. Fabulous. Answering your financial questions with me, Ramsey Solutions certified coach Steve Money. That is me. And I don't do that weekend stream anymore. I may do one here every once in a while. But as a rule, I'm not doing any of the Friday and Saturdays because I'm currently able to do the Ramsey Show Aftershow Monday through Friday. And I will be, unless I am somewhere else for Thanksgiving, which right now I don't believe I will be. I'll be home, and so I don't have anything better to do than to do an after show after the Ramsey replay on Thanksgiving Day. So I will be doing that. Not generally, I've done it before, not generally a lot of people, but sometimes people come by and say hi at least. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, of course. The music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. It'll be 12 eventually. And get my plugs. Why did Tanya's dumb too? Well, at least you admit it. Admitting it is the first step always. I used to be dumb as well. You can change it. change it. All right, so once again, Coach Steve Money, I'm Ramsey Solution Certified Financial Coach. And if you, yes, you, are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free, yes, free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That's in the description and in the ticker below. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com about financial coaching or anything on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, do Cash App at $Coach Steve Money, or a Walmart gift card to the email address again, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Also, alternatively, super chats on lives, super stickers on live, and super thanks, I believe is what they're called, on pre-recorded videos. Upcoming streams: the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, Monday through Friday, following each YouTube Ramsey show that ends approximately 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And as of right now, I am planning on doing that Thursday show at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, so on Thanksgiving. So if you are not doing anything else, feel free to come by and say hey and chat and hear me say people are doing dumb things, because they will be. Always. You can always count on that. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day. Yeah, that fell.